We are back with more on Vice President Harris's plan to unveil her economic agenda this afternoon, with an emphasis on lowering grocery prices, lowering rental prices, and tax cuts for middle-class families. And while Donald Trump is still leading on the issue of the economy over Kamala Harris in recent polling, he no longer has the double-digit lead he regularly held over President Biden on this key issue for voters. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung is here to help break down Harris's economic plans. First, on grocery prices. Brian, we know Harris wants to ban corporate price gouging in the food and the food and grocery industries. How would this work?
Yeah, well, again, and the economy is this kind of big nebulous idea, but what we're really dealing with right now is inflation, and where are people noticing that the most? At the grocery store. So the Harris plan really started off with some talking points about what they want to do on price gouging. They're basically taking aim at companies that they allege have been unduly raising prices to increase their margins. And indeed, profitability at a number of companies has indeed increased. So what she's proposing here is giving a little bit more power to the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, in addition to state attorneys general, to investigate any sort of allegations of price gouging and impose strict new penalties on companies that are found out to do so. She also wants to scrutinize mergers and acquisitions. And I should point out, there's a big one in the works already. Kroger and Albertsons, one of the two largest chains in this country, they proposed a merger in 2022. It's been making its way through the legal system in the form of many lawsuits, and whether or not that gets resolved, it could go into the next administration. So whether or not it's Harris or Trump could be very instrumental to what comes of that potentially big merger. And
when it comes to lowering housing and rent prices, what do we know about her plans?
Yeah, from the inflation report that we got just earlier this week, by the way, 90% of the increase in prices was attributed to housing costs. So this is actually the bigger part of the plan here. And what she's proposing is a number of things. First off, a $40 billion plan that would basically spur innovation in this space. Also, a $25,000 payment assistance for first-time home buyers trying to put down that down payment, which we know is a very big deal. So these are really big parts of the equation here. But a lot of economists that I've been speaking to over the last few years, Anna, have said it's really supply that's the issue. So yes, you might be able to give first-time home buyers some help on the down payment, but if there aren't any homes to buy in the area, that's going to be a problem. She hopes that this $40 billion fund, in addition to things like encouraging people to build starter homes for first-time buyers through tax incentives, that would increase the supply. She's aiming at 3 million new housing units over her administration. That's a pretty lofty and ambitious goal.
And Brian, talk to us about the tax cuts she's proposing for middle-class families. Who exactly stands to benefit, and how much of a relief could they expect?
Yeah, well, her proposal, as outlined today, would really take aim at families. And she's basically saying, all right, we'll bring back the expanded child tax credit, which Americans got a little bit of a sampling of in 2021. It expired in 2022. That kind of came out of the post-COVID period. That actually, a lot of research showed, helped a lot of low-income families, specifically those that have a number of kids, but just really had a tough time trying to get through the pandemic through layoffs. But so she's saying, all right, let's bring that back. And on top of that, bringing up a $6,000 tax credit for families with children that are in their first year of life. So again, that would be stacked on top of the expanded child tax credit. That would be a pretty big deal for a number of families. But one quick point I want to make, what was noticeably absent from this report and this plan that, as outlined today, that she was talking about on the campaign trail, was that tip tax, trying to get rid of that tip tax, which Trump has said he would also do as well. I didn't see mention of that in the plan this morning.
Maybe she thinks that's already come out, so she doesn't have to address it at this point. We'll see. Thank you, Brian Chung. You took through a lot there, and I know it's not easy.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Thanks.